All right, welcome to Virtual Closeness, everyone. It's a Krishna Cove experience. And with us today, we have a few people joining us. Jagdish Prabhu, thank you for coming, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Dr. Elijah as well, thank you for joining us. Chris, Gabby, and Sri
Krishna.
Dasi.
Hey, Rangavati Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you guys for joining us. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about exploring Krishna.
That sounds exciting, doesn't it?
It does. All right, Gurudev, it's all yours.
Om Gyantimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Gurave Namaha. So, people talk about exploring. I'm going to go exploring. Why don't you come exploring with me? People are exploring the world. What are some of the things that people are looking for when they're exploring? What are some of the ways people explore, and what are they looking for when they explore? What are we talking about? Anybody?
We explore different parts of the world.
What are we looking for?
We're looking for different cultures, different types of people.
Can't hear you,
new places.
Jagdish.
Sorry?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. We're looking for different cultures, learn from new people, new experiences in nature. Proud, the main thing, I guess.
Yeah. Oftentimes people explore and they're looking for treasure. So sometimes people explore, like I'm looking for the typical things that motivate people in the material world. Profit. I want to explore and see if I can find some buried treasure or some hidden treasure. Years ago, there were many devotees that were exploring different parts of India, and they were looking for treasures. I don't know if anybody ever found anything valuable. That was a common thing, not overly common, but something to do. And so some people are looking for wealth. So they're looking for some profit. Some people want fame and distinction. I'm the one who found this. So I'm famous because I discovered something at the people, they explore the North Pole, South Pole. And so they're looking for something, and typically they want to put their name on it. People explore the Amazon rainforest, and they're looking for a new plant or a new medicine. So maybe they'll make some money, they'll become famous, they'll get distinguished. So fame, profit, adoration, and distinction are generally the motivating factors. So keep that in mind. People are often, when they're exploring, they're looking for some profit. They're looking for some fortune. So what about exploring Krishna? Well, let's talk about that. We're going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Verse 26. And Goswami is saying, Priyo Nivasya Yasya Yoraha Anapatram Mukhandrisham Lavaloka Pawanam Saranam Saranganam Ambujam. Now listen to what he's saying. The Lord's chest, excuse me, I've got to clear my throat. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods. His lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any other subject except his lordship. So, pretty beautiful verse, isn't it? This kind of gives us a really good picture of Krishna here. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. If you find Krishna, you have found the source of all fortune. You found the source of all wealth and the owner of all wealth. You may say, no, I've got a couple of $1 million over here in T-bills or in property or whatever, but actually that is his. You may own a gold mine, but it belongs to Krishna. So when you find the chest of the Lord, when you find Krishna, you found the abode of the goddess of fortune. All fortune is there with Krishna. So if we're looking for fortune and we're looking for somewhere else, then we're only going to find maybe some fortune, but it can never belong to you. You may take some possession of it, and you may even claim it as yours, but factually, it can never be yours. So did you ever find any fortune? You may have found some fortune that you can manipulate for your own good. That will only cost you in the end. Excuse me, I'm drinking this tea for my throat. By the way, before we go any further, is everyone in good health? Everyone feeling well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
Good. Fantastic. How about Radha Sundari? Are you taking good care of her?
She's taking good care of me.
Okay. She's got you trained. That's the right thing to say. I think this relationship might last. So, the Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. Think about what we're saying here. The chest of the Lord. So, have you ever thought about that? What would you do if you could embrace the Lord? You put your arms around him. Wouldn't you put your head on his chest? Thought about that? These are things that we should think about. What will you do when that moment comes? And it will come when you'll have the embrace of Krishna. So I think you're going to find your head on his chest, on his shoulder. So when you found the Lord's chest, that's the abode of the goddess of fortune. In other words, anything that can be worth anything is sourced from right there, from the Lord's chest. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker for all that is beautiful. So when you find Krishna and you embrace him, you get close enough to embrace him, you're going to see his moon-like face, this Chandra. Like the deity in Dallas is called Kala Chanji. Beautiful moon-like face. It's Chandra, it's moon-like. So Krishna's face is moon-like. It's roundish like a moon. And it's the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. This face of Krishna is the source of anything that's beautiful or that ever was beautiful. Any type of beauty is coming from Krishna's face. It's not that Krishna is really beautiful, but there's something else. There's other beauty. It's not like when you get to Krishna, you'll be looking at Krishna, and it's not like you'll see some other beautiful thing or a beautiful person. and that'll steal your attention. We're looking at the very source of beauty. All beauty starts there. It all culminates right there. So, in other words, that is the most attractive, most beautiful thing that you can look at, Krishna's face. In other words, there may be peacocks in his home in Goloka Vrindavan. There's so many beautiful things to see. So there's incredible trees, mountains, forests. There are lotus ponds, pasture lands, beautiful dwellings, beautiful people. But none of this is going to catch your attention when you're looking at Krishna. He's got all of your attention. So if all fortune and all beauty lies in Krishna, why are we wasting our time looking for something beautiful or fortune somewhere else? So you should ponder that. Why am I? I've been misled. I've been attracted to the material energy. So here I am in the material world and I'm looking under rocks for something beautiful. I'm looking for some good fortune. So some of the other things, excuse me, that we would find as we approach Krishna, his arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods. So Krishna's arms are so powerful and so potent and so protective, so sheltering, that they are the resting place for the administrative demigods. In other words, the demigods are such powerful living entities. So even the most powerful of all powerful entities take shelter in his arms. They're the resting place. Resting place is someplace you can go and you can rest safely and securely. You don't have to worry about any outside intervention. No one will disturb you. Completely protected. So, these arms of Krishna's are the resting places for the administrative demigods. If the demigods find shelter, these most powerful entities, if they find shelter in Krishna's arms, maybe that would apply to us too. We could also find shelter in Krishna's arms. In other words, his arms are the source of shelter. Now, we may find some shelter or something. We may say, well, I've got this nice sturdy house and it serves as a very good shelter. That's true, but if the wind gets strong enough or if the rain gets strong enough, it'll knock it down. Even if you're in a cave, there could be an earthquake and your mountain could fall in on you. So my point is, there is no shelter like Krishna's sheltering arms. There is no fortune like the chest of Krishna. There is no beauty like the face of Krishna. And there is no shelter that even equals, even approaches the shelter we find in Krishna's arms. And his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except for his lordship. So Krishna's lotus feet are that refuge for the pure devotees. The devotees seek the refuge, shelter of the shade of Krishna's lotus feet. So we're talking about pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Now, does that mean that they can't talk about anything else? For the pure devotee, everything he says should be related to Krishna in some way. It may sound like some mundane thing, but it's related to Krishna or his service to Krishna. Your service to Krishna and Krishna are one and the same. They're non-different. So discussions about your various service, things that you do to serve Guru and Krishna, these are all part of your seva, all part of your devotional service. You're talking about Krishna when you're talking about your service. So the pure devotees never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Now, some people say, gee whiz, I got a long way to go before I get to that particular position. But you're closer than you think. You're a lot closer than you think. I've heard people say that all my life. Well, the last almost 50 years anyway. He was, I don't know if I could ever get there, but you're a lot closer to embracing Krishna than you think. You're a lot closer to being 10% pure devotee than you can imagine. If you just, you may look ahead and the journey looks like it's still a long way to go. Turn around, look behind you, and look from where you've come. It's been a long road. You've come through tremendous change of consciousness. So many things that you used to hold near and dear and believe in as fact have all fallen by the wayside. You found out that it was illusory. So if you just look once in a while, not that you make a habit or become puffed up, oh, gee whiz, I'm really making progress, but just once in a while, do yourself the favor of seeing how far you've come. And you can realize Krishna is not that far. As a matter of fact, as we all know, we can associate directly with Krishna if we're talking and singing about him and his activities, his attributes, his beautiful face. If we're just by reading this, I like to read this verse occasionally. Reading about this description of the Lord's chest, his moon-like face, his powerful arms. So when we're doing this, we actually have Krishna. Now we can't see him with these eyes, not at this point, but we have Krishna so long as we stay on subjects relating to Krishna. So, excuse me. I'm going to move along and read the purport. Are there any questions or comments so far? Okay. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, there are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are persons who are seeking after the favor of the goddess of fortune. And for them, the Vedic literatures give information that the Lord is always served with all reverence by thousands and thousands of goddesses of fortune at the Chintamani Dham. The transcendental abode where Lord, the transcendental abode of the Lord, Chintamani Dham, where the trees are all desire trees and the buildings are made of touchstone. Lord Govinda is engaged there in herding the Surabi cows as his natural occupation. Think about that. Prabhupada is describing Krishna, his natural occupation is herding the cows. Now, some people would think, well, God is sitting on a big throne someplace. And he is. There are manifestations of God where he is on that throne. And he's commanding all awe and reverence. But this supreme source of beauty, supreme source of love and protection, the original personality of Godhead, has an occupation. He goes to work every day and he herds the cows. This is his occupation. This is an example to us. We may have so many other occupations and we're attracted to all of our occupations. But at some point, could it be that we'll find ourselves just going out with Krishna to take the cows out? In the real world, in the eternal world, when we return back home, Couldn't that be your true occupation? Our true occupation is to assist Krishna in whatever he wants done. Notice I said assist Krishna in whatever he wants done. It's very pious if you say, well, I have some things that I want to do for Krishna. That's very pious. But to assist Krishna in whatever he wants done is first class. That's doing for Krishna what Krishna wants. This is pure loving devotional service. So let's examine what else Prabhupada is saying. Krishna lives, served by this hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis, goddesses of fortune, in Chintamani Dham. Chintamani Dham is the transcendental abode of the Lord where the trees are desire trees, meaning that you can approach the tree and you can request anything, no limitation, and the tree will immediately give it to you. Not only that, all the buildings are made of touchstone. Excuse me. Touchstone means no matter whatever you touch it to, it turns to gold. So picture this. What an opulent place. You've got trees that will give you anything you could possibly desire, and touchstone, meaning anything you touch to it, you just touch any building with a lotus flower, and it becomes a solid gold lotus flower. So this sounds like quite an attractive place. Now, a big difference here between the living entity's consciousness is some people would hear this and think, oh my God, I've got to get to this place. Well, I'd love that. To be able to walk up to any and every tree and desire anything and have it handed to me immediately. You see? So the most common concept of heaven is something similar to that. I'm going to go to heaven and I'm going to have all of my wants, not just my needs, but all my desires will be fulfilled. I'm going to have a palatial dwelling. The streets will be gold. Gates will be gold. You see? I really can't wait to get there so that I can enjoy my new home, where I can have everything handed to me, and all I have to do is desire it. See? So with that consciousness, you're never going to make it to Chintamani Dham. You're never going to make it to Krishna's ultimate supreme abode. You can't get through the gates. You couldn't get through the gates of Chintamani Dham. Why? You'd be so enamored by the beauty of the gate, you'd be thinking, I wonder if I could chip off some of this and take that with me. How can I profit? It's like one sannyasi, godbrother of mine, said to me in 1975, how can we get into Krishna's abode when we're enamored by the material energy? Some people are enamored by a Rolex watch. It's like people go into a business conference. It's like you go into a conference room, there's a bunch of people around the conference table, and they're all highly successful people. And many people are attracted to the jewelry that these people have. Why, look at this guy. He's got this Rolex watch. Why, this guy has a solid gold Rolex President. Well, this guy has a Rolex solid gold President with a diamond bezel. This guy has all of that plus a big gold chain. So the material consciousness is enamored and attracted by material opulence. So as long as you're wanting this opulence for yourself, you're not going to wind up in Chintamani Dham. you just won't go there. All of this is there because you need these resources of the desire trees, the touchstone buildings. You need this to fulfill Krishna's desires. You need these resources because you're going to want to offer so many wonderful things to Krishna. Not just what he tells you, but what you know Krishna wants. You may know Krishna wants some particular type of laddu or some particular type of flower or garland, some type of foodstuff. You know that I know because I know Krishna's heart. I know Krishna would want this. So for him, it's not like he just lets you come there to serve him with love and devotion and you're all on your own. You have to get a job, go out and go to work, collect a payday, and then go buy things for Krishna. It's not like that. In the material world, people would see it as that. If I have to serve God, if I'm in a place where all I do is serve God, where am I going to get the money? Where am I going to get the resources? So Krishna, as we've discussed, is the source of all wealth. And so he is providing his resources for you all throughout Chintamani Dham. Every tree is a wish fulfilling tree. Every building is touchstone. So because of your desire to serve Krishna, not his desire for you to serve him, but for your desire to serve Krishna, he is accommodating you by giving you these fantastic resources. You know what I mean? He's doing this as a service to you. You want to serve him. You want to serve him in a magnitude that you cannot even imagine. You see? But when you see the resources that he's provided for you to serve him, then you can get infinitely creative and serve Krishna in any fashion, in any level that you want. He makes that provision for you. Why? Because you need it. You need it to carry out your mission, and your mission is to serve him. So before I move on, are there any questions, comments? Take that as a no. Prabhupada goes on. These goddesses of fortune can be seen automatically if we are attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. The impersonalists cannot observe such goddesses of fortune because of their dry, speculative habit. The impersonalist doesn't think that anything beyond this material world has any form anyway. You see, the world that they seek and the world that they ultimately will end up in does not have goddesses of fortune. Doesn't have this beautiful moon-like face of Krishna. It's all Krishna energy.
I have a question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So I've actually had this question for a while, and I haven't gotten a chance to ask it regarding the goddesses of fortune. So, you know, Krishna and Vishnu is transcendental, and, you know, that's what it says in the scriptures. So does that make Lakshmi, who serves Vishnu, also transcendental to the other demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Lakshmi is transcendental to the demigods then?
Yeah, positively. The demigods are like human beings on steroids.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the demigods take birth. They have some duration of their life, although it's a very long duration. And then ultimately they die. They leave their bodies. So Lakshmi does not take her birth and die. Lakshmi may come and take a birth in the material world, but that original personality, baby, is eternal. So she is an eternal personal consort. That answer your question?
Yeah, it answered my question. It's just because, you know, you see a lot of times, you see like Lakshmi linked in with the demigods. And I've always thought, you know, Lakshmi, I would think Lakshmi is transcendental because she's always serving the transcendent Lord. So it's just a question that showed up in my mind a while back.
That's a good point. Now, we don't link Lakshmi in with the demigods, but people with less knowledge about the whole grand scheme of things do. They also link Durga, some even Brahma, Shiva. Some people think that these demigods are like gods. I mean, they're like Krishna. Some people believe that Brahma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some people believe that Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some people worship Lakshmi. So Prabhupada taught us not to worship Lakshmi. Lakshmi is there with Krishna. Satisfy Krishna, and you've got Lakshmi satisfied. It's not appropriate to approach Lakshmi for any boon. My dear Lakshmi, you're the goddess of fortune. Please give me. She's the wife of Krishna. She's the maidservant of Krishna. Why are you going there? Why don't you go to the source? Why don't you go to Krishna? But that's a good question, Chris. Very good. The impersonalists cannot observe these goddesses of fortune because of their dry speculative habit. Their dry speculative habit is basically, once I transcend this bodily form and transcend this material world, I'm going to merge into the light. I'm going to merge into the Brahmjyoti. There are no Lakshmis there. There is no Krishna. There is no Krishna's face. His arms aren't there. I don't need any of that because I'm going to be merged in the complete whole. So that's very dry and speculative. Excuse me. Prabhupada goes on, and those who are artists, overtaken by the beautiful creation, should better see the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. The face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds are but the specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. So Prabhupada's very poetic with this. This verse has put Prabhupada in a very poetic mood, you can tell. He's saying that artists are people who are looking for something to paint. Typically, the artist becomes overwhelmed by the beauty of a mountain, maybe, or a sunset. Sometimes it's a bowl of fruit. You know, an artist can be overwhelmed with the beauty of just about anything. And so those who are the artists, and they're overtaken by the beautiful creation, they look around and they say, wow, look at all the beautiful colors in the desert in the morning. Let me paint it. They've been overcome with the beauty of this creation. These people, Prabhupada says, should better to see the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. A good point. If we're finding some beauty in a desert sunrise or a mountain sunset, think of the beauty that we can find in the source of all this beauty. There is beauty even on this planet that we can't even imagine. It's like Brahmananda Prabhu, when he was in Africa, I can't remember the name of the country, but he was trying to start our mission in Africa. And I don't remember exactly if it was Kenya. I can't remember the exact place in Africa. But he wrote Prabhupada a letter and he said, "Dear Srila Prabhupada, this is the most beautiful place in the world. You should come here." And so after some time, Prabhupada did go there. And Prabhupada, as he's looking at the scenery, he said, "You are right. This is the most beautiful place on this planet." So there are many beautiful places on this planet we might not have experienced. Be surprised how many people have never seen Hawaii or Tahiti or other places. Hawaii is one of those places that's so beautiful you can't really describe it. The pictures that you see in the travel brochures, they don't do it any justice. So if we're overtaken by the Hawaiian mountains and the Hawaiian rainforest, if that beauty, which it does, it'll take you away. Or standing looking off at the beautiful color of the ocean, off of some of the cliffs on the eastern part of the island. Look out at the color of that ocean, and you can just be carried away for a moment at the beauty. And it's simply just a fragment of Krishna's beauty. It's not even much of a fragment. It's a fragment of the fragment of the fragment of the fragment of Krishna's ultimate beauty. So we're sometimes in this material world, we're knocked over by beauty. You see, so what's it gonna be like when you see Krishna's face, the source of beauty? That's real beauty. That's where beauty comes from. As it leaves Krishna's face is the source of beauty. By the time it gets here, it manifests in Hawaii or Kenya or wherever, or the ocean. I guess Puerto Rico's a pretty place, isn't it? Yeah. So by the time that beauty gets here and manifests in this earthly planet, it's perverted. It's lost a lot of its shine. See? Although, according to what we know, our poor fund of knowledge, we may say, "Oh, this is so gorgeous." So, Prabhupada says, what they call beautiful nature is but his smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds are but specimens of the whispering voice of the Lord. So, think about this. Prabhupada is talking about the whispering voice of Krishna. Are you hearing it, but you don't know that you're hearing it? Prabhupada's not speaking in a metaphor. So, the sweet whispering voice of the Lord is there. Not only can we associate with Krishna through his name, but according to Prabhupada, we can hear him. We understand. If we get some understanding, we can hear this whispering voice of the Lord. What do you think the voice is telling you? He's saying, "Come, come, come, give me your embrace." So this is his ultimate desire. He is looking for you to come into his arms. Prabhupada goes on, there are administrative demigods in charge of departmental service of cosmic management. And they are tiny administrative gods in the state service. They are always afraid of other competitors. But if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them always from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of in the service of administration is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interest of the people in general. Other so-called administrators are symbols of anachronisms leading to the acute distress of people who are governed by them. Administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. Wow. Prophet is saying that there are many administrative demigods, and they have cosmic management. Excuse me, they're managing on a very vast, large level. It's so big we can't see it. We can't see what Lord Brahma is doing. We can't see what Lord Indra is doing. We can't see what these demigods are doing. Sometimes people say, well, I don't see the demigods, so it's kind of hard for me to believe they exist. So, although you can't see electricity, but yet you believe it exists. People could argue, well, I see the result of the electricity. I see the light. But you see the results of the demigods. You are just simply ignorant. Their existence. You don't know. So these demigods are in charge of cosmic management. Then Prabhupada points out that there are tiny administrative gods who are in the state service. They're always afraid of other competitors. But if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them always from the attacks of enemies. Arms of the Lord, the ultimate shelter. And this is interesting. Prabhupada's talking about a faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of administration is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interest of the people in general. Perhaps someday in our lifetime we'll have a devotee president. We had a devotee running for president. So perhaps someday we'll have, maybe someday she'll score to become our president. Prabhupada, a faithful servant of the Lord, engaged in the service of the administration, is the ideal executive head of state. And the rest of them are just there and they give distress to people. We can practically see that. We can practically experience that. For instance, we're caught up in this pandemic. And so the economy needs help. People need help. Businesses need help. So on. So the administrators of state are on one side and some on the other side. And what do? They argue. They compete with each other. You see, I think we ought to do this. No, I think we ought to do that. And I think we ought to do that. So somewhere along the way, the interest of the people is lost. And ultimately, they're not doing their job. They don't really see their job as serving the people. They see their job as acquiring and maintaining power. So these so-called administrators are just symbols of anachronisms, and they lead to acute distress of the people. Yes, they give us a lot of distress. Some people may get behind a particular candidate or someone who's in office that has no spiritual value. And they may think, oh, this is my savior, this is my great leader. Well, that's illusory. They're basically going to be like all of them that I've ever seen in my 72 years. They're going to lead us into some distress, some war, or some mishandling. The Prabhupada says the administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. Prabhupada goes on, the essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. I'm going to read that again. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. He is called Saram. And those who sing and talk about him are called the Sarangas, or the pure devotees. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus has a kind of honey which is transcendentally relished by the devotees. They are like the bees who are always after the honey. So now Prabhupada is talking about the sarangas. The sarangas are the pure devotees, and these are the ones that Prabhupada was talking about that are always singing and talking about Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is on their mind. You can see somebody who has their mind on politics or on a particular hobby or a particular interest, sports, whatever. That's what they talk about because that's what they put in their head and that's what comes out of their mouth. These sarangas, the pure devotees of the Lord, they are always intaking information, like we're doing now, about Krishna. They always have an intake of descriptions of the Lord's beauty, his pastimes, his opulences. Because that they take in so much of this, that's what they're always chanting and singing about. So these pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. Lotus, Prabhupada's talking about, has a particular type of honey, which is transcendentally relished by the devotees. Now, this is very interesting. Prabhupada says, Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. Quote, "Oh, my Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly, therefore, give me the bee mind. Give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for the transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for service of your lotus feet, but because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet can derive even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted to them. O Supreme Eternal, please, therefore, let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service." This is Rupa Goswami. These are some of those songs, words that are discussed in this verse. Rupa Goswami has meditated so much on Krishna that this is coming from him. His heart is saying this. I beg to offer my prayers unto you. Please give me this honey of your lotus feet. So this is an example of what we're talking about. But to get to this point, to where this type of song, prayer, poetry comes from your mouth, you have to have the intake. You have to have hearing. You have to hear from those who are talking about Krishna. This is called following in the footsteps. Or as Prabhupada says, following in the footprints of the previous acharyas. In the West, we say following in the footsteps. Prabhupada always said, or at least most of the time, he talked about following in the footprints. So Why do you think Prabhupada talked about following in the footprints of the previous acharyas? It's because footprints are very easy to follow. Footprints across the sand or across the snow, see, or footprints across the dewy grass. You can see them. So we can see the footprints of the previous acharyas very clearly. They're made clear from us by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Now, if you're going to follow in these footprints of the previous acharyas, does that mean you look out at the sand and you see like all of these footprints? Think about it. I mean, let's actually get down to reality here. So Prabhupada is saying, let's follow in the footprints of the previous acharyas. Well, how do I know if I'm following in those footprints? I look, there's been many previous acharyas, so that means there's many footprints, right? Well, it looks like a whole crowd has gone over the beach. So actually, no, there's only one set of footprints. And everybody follows in those footprints. You see? Following in the footprints of your guru, if you have a bona fide guru, he's following in the footprints of his bona fide guru, who's following in the footprints of his bona fide guru, and they're all stepping in these same footprints of all the previous acharyas, including Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. You see? So it's not like there's a whole bunch of innumerable footprints. There's only one. So this is following the path that's set forth by the previous acharyas. So, any questions before I go on? We're about to wrap up. All right. Prabhupada closes by saying the devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees. So, what does Krishna mean by it? What is Prabhupada saying here? The devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all beautiful face, to aspire for his protection, his strong arms. Any comments on that? What's he saying?
These are satisfied.
What he's actually saying is that the pure devotees, we're, Chris, did you have something to say?
Oh, yeah, actually, Prabhu, I just was going to ask if you can repeat that last statement. I kind of missed it. I'm sorry.
All right, yeah, Prabhupada says, the devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord and have no ambition to see his all beautiful face or aspire for the protection of the strong arms of the Lord. They are humble by nature, and the Lord is always leaning towards such humble devotees. So I was asking anybody's opinion on that short paragraph there. Anybody?
I was just saying that these particular devotees that want to be at the lotus feet of the Lord, they just simply want to serve. They just want to serve the Lord.
Right. Yeah. When you go ahead.
I said, it reminds me, I always remember one thing that really stuck with me about in Krishna book was during the Rasa dance, the gopis, they just wanted to be Krishna's maidservants, even though they're the most exalted servants of Krishna in the whole universe. They were content with just being Krishna's maidservants. And they asked him if we can be your maidservants. So it's just that we want to serve the Lord in the best possible way.
Yeah, out of humility. Prabhupada is saying here, they are humble. The pure devotees are humble by nature. And we're saying, Krishna, please, like Rupa Goswami, just please give me the nectar of your lotus feet. So does that mean that that's all you get? You
No.
approach Krishna and you say, please just give me the nectar of your lotus feet. Does that mean that's all you get?
I see when we approach Krishna, say if we're looking at the deities in the temple, then we always look at Krishna's feet first to keep that humility before we go up to his face. It seems to be, as a devotee, we need to keep that humility, but that humility doesn't seem to be there when we get to Gloka Vrindavan, because there we're just enchanted with Krishna's smile and Krishna's lotus eyes. So there seems to be a distinction there between service in this material world and service back in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan.
Exactly. So this is the point. We, if we can become humble, we're simply asking Krishna, please just give me the shelter of your lotus feet. So Prabhupada is saying here that Krishna is always leaning towards this type of humility. So think of the story of Sudama. When Sudama went to visit Krishna. So Sudama wanted to serve Krishna. But Krishna immediately placed him on a wonderful seat. And Krishna personally bathed his feet. He bathed his devotees' feet. So Sudama had this kind of humility. So if you approach Krishna in this mood of humility, that all I want is the shade, the shelter, the lotus feet, then he'll immediately pick you up and embrace you. See? So yeah, that's a good example. When we approach the deity, our home deities or the deities in the temple, or pictures of the deities or whatever, it's good if you get in the habit of looking at their feet first, and then you follow up their form, ultimately. That is difficult. You have a tendency to want to look right at their face.
Right.
For your home deities, you get so personal in your service with them that you're going to look right at their face or look at them anyway. See what I mean? In your home deity, you may get like that. See? As you get more and more personal with your deities, a lot of times you may forget to look at their feet first. Because there's no awe and reverence. This relationship has grown to that point. But in your heart, you're humble like that. You're humble, really just want the words. You just want his lotus feet. The Prabhupada is saying here, those who are artists overtaken by the beautiful creation should better see the beautiful face of the Lord for complete satisfaction. So it doesn't mean that we're never going to wind up with anything other than Krishna's feet, but we should be prepared to be satisfied. We seek that. Compared to what we have in this material world, that's just like all you could possibly imagine to get. That's the greatest boon you could ever imagine, just to get Krishna's lotus feet. But when you get his feet, you've got all of it. You've got the protection of his arms. We're not looking for his protection, we're looking for him. We want him. Of course there'll be protection. So as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we just know that if I have Krishna, there'll be protection. I'm not asking Krishna, oh, please protect me. I know you will. That's like saying to the sun in Arizona in the summertime, oh, please be bright and hot. Well, that's going to be there. Even if you get under a tree, it's still bright and hot. So it's kind of silly. If I get Krishna, of course there is protection. So rather than looking for protection, I should be looking for Krishna. Protection there. Rather than looking for fortune, I should be looking for Krishna. Fortune will be there. So, are there any discussions? Let me read the verse again. The Lord's chest is the abode of the goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing any subject except his lordship. Any comments, questions, or discussion?
You know, Gurudev, I really like this one particular line in the purport where it says, "O Supreme Eternal, please therefore let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service." So there's something that about relishing the taste, right? It's like if you get too much of something, you may begin to stop relishing the taste of something. But in the case of Krishna and Krishna consciousness, the more we get that taste, the more we relish it, the more we want more of it. So,
Yeah, the more taste we get
right.
of offering loving service to Krishna, the more we want. Because that is our original position as souls. Now, Krishna he's complete in and of himself. Oh, there's Bhavananda. All right, Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
So, are you and your wife switching off?
Yes, I just had a comment I was going to throw in there when I get a chance.
Pitch it in.
It's just kind of off the wall thing that, we want to serve Krishna. And, if you see the deity, we're talking about looking at his feet and then looking at his face. That's just our creation of the deity. Krishna is so much more beautiful than that in person. If you want to be a devotee and you want to serve Krishna, if you look at his feet, imagine how beautiful his feet are. I mean, they're incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
But to speak of his face, if you actually looked at his face, you would probably think it was so incredibly beautiful you'd pass out. And how
Right.
can you serve Krishna if you're passed out?
Right.
So better to look at his feet.
Better to look at his feet.
That's my thought.
Good point.
All right,
The feet of Krishna are so beautiful that it's completely satisfying. It's not like you look at his feet and you think, oh man, I got to move along and see what else this guy has. No, it's completely satisfying. As for the deity, as our Krishna consciousness evolves, we see Krishna more in the deity. The non-devotee looks at the form of the Lord and he sees a statue, marble, wood, metal, whatever. And he may think that thing is kind of pretty. Boy, somebody really did a good job carving that image or casting that image out of metal, whatever. And the devotee may think that in the beginning. He may think, oh, this carving or this painting or whatever of God, this is very beautiful. As your Krishna consciousness grows, more and more you'll see Krishna manifest in the deity. See? For instance, many times Srila Prabhupada saw, when he looked at the deities, the rest of us were looking at the deities and we're seeing deities. Prabhupada is looking and sometimes he would be clapping and giggling. And one time, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, why are you clapping and giggling? And Prabhupada said, just see how Krishna is dancing with Radharani. So this is what Prabhupada could see. This is what's there to be seen. We don't have those eyes yet. Hey, there's Bob. All right, Krishna, Bob.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Good
It's great to see you.
you.
Thank you.
So as we advance in our service to Krishna and our Krishna consciousness gets more and more mature, this beautiful face of Krishna, you'll get to appreciate his lotus feet, looking at the deity. The deity won't look like metal or wood or marble after some time. So,
Prabhu,
yeah,
I have a. Can I talk about a practical application of looking at the feet of the Lord?
sure. Did you have a question about that?
I wanted to share an experience in material world. Why we look at the feet. In India, we have an old culture. Is it okay? I go about it, Prabhu.
Please.
Yeah. In India, we have a culture of, when the elders go work and come back, the younger folks press their feet so the body gets relaxed thoroughly. And it is very true. All the nerves, they end at the feet. Once we start pressing the feet and the leg, the whole body is, people can get sleep actually, especially elders. And we used to do this. It's been there in our culture from a very, very long time. And the reason we want to look at the elders' feet is we want to serve them, please them. And, it's more than the beauty of the, once you get used to that, pressing the feet, and now the parent or the elder knows, I really want to please him. If that's there's already an exchange there. When you look at the feet, now my son wants to please me, and he,
Yeah. Similar with Krishna. Krishna comes home from herding the cows, and immediately you want to give him a nice seat and let me massage your feet. See, let me massage your feet and wash your feet. First, I'll cleanse them, although his feet never get dirty. I want to massage his feet, although his feet never get sore. And then I want to put some scented water, sandalwood water, something like that, although his feet are always smelling like lotus flowers. So although he doesn't need it, we want to do it for him. And so this service begins at the feet.
Yeah.
Therefore, the offering is at the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is what you're talking about, is a personalization of this approaching the lotus feet.
Yes, definitely. In olden days, people used to go out for farming. That was a natural occupation for everyone until we got to the Industrial Revolution. People used to go for work in the fields and come back, and it was so very common. And I can sense, I've seen this. It was so common to press the elders' feet when they come back home. We lost it. We lost this culture.
Yeah. The whole world lost that culture. Mother Yashoda worries when Krishna goes to take the cows out. He's barefooted and she's worried, oh, what if Krishna steps on something and cuts his foot or hurts his foot? So she doesn't think, oh, he's God, he can take care of himself. He's not thinking about this. Well, if he can give protection to the demigods, then he can take care of his feet. See? Or he can manifest any kind of boot or shoe that he wants. She doesn't think like that. Out of love, she's thinking, what if he hurts his feet? And so this is her meditation. I'm so worried about Krishna. I wonder if Krishna has enough lunch. Did I give him enough lunch today? Will he be hungry? See? So out of love, these emotions come.
Yeah.
If it was on reverence, or if it was anything else, you would think, well, hey, look, Krishna's a big boy. He can take care of himself. I mean, if he can kill all these demons, surely he can not step on a rock. And even if he does, it's going to hurt the rock more than it will his foot.
Mhm.
You see? So love transcends the God issue.
Yeah. It also when we press the feet, it also means these are the feet that work for me all day. So let me take care of it. You see what I mean?
What's that again?
I'm saying if someone goes out and brings food, or goes to the field and works and comes back, and um, so the younger people, if they press the feet, that means they're saying that these are the feet that actually taking care of me. So let me take care of those feet when they come back.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's an emotional attachment.
Exactly. I see what you mean.
I'm also thinking that we can have that emotional attachment to our deities. That's why we have our deities. So we can think, oh, has Krishna had enough to eat? And we can make our deity a nice big meal for Krishna to eat. We can, in the mornings when we bathe the deity, we also massage his feet, and we massage his whole body. So we massage Krishna's body all nicely. So we can, Krishna gives us this opportunity to develop this mental attitude through serving his deity form.
Exactly. I remember, I guess it was the late 70s. I was the head Pujari for Radhakala Chakti in Dallas. And every night I would take off his day clothes, wash the sandalwood painting from his face and off of his feet, put on his evening clothes, and I would massage his feet with scented oil, some goose oil, something like that, sandalwood. Massage his feet, and take my own sweet time doing it. And then at the end, I would touch my head to his feet. And then say the mantras to put him to sleep, and bid him good night. See you tomorrow morning. But yeah, with your home deities, it's not unusual. I'm sure you experience this more around. Are the deities warm enough?
Mm.
Are the deities cool enough?
Mm. That's right, yeah.
It's not like, well, we're going to turn the heat off and go take rest in the house or our room. We're just not going to be concerned with how cold it gets in there. We have air conditioning and we have heat for our deities. I know in Dallas we used to have I don't know what the setup is now, but we used to have an air conditioner. We used to have a heater just for the altar. So sometimes in the wintertime when everybody was out on book distribution, we would have everything turned down real low in the temple. So as not to burn a lot of electricity. We didn't have enough money. But for my service when I was on the altar all day long, whether I was there or not, we had plenty of heat for Krishna. Keep the curtains closed so the temple room, the cold air from the temple room wouldn't get on the Lord. And when I'm doing the noon arti, if there was no one there, I would keep the curtains closed. Because it's cold. See? So, well, we get in that habit of having a more personal realization. Deity service can help you like that. This is one of the main reasons why Krishna appears in the deity. He appears in an apparently helpless situation. So you're thinking, wow, I have to take good care of you. You can't take care of yourself. You can't feed yourself. You can't bathe yourself. You can't dress yourself. So pujaris wake the deities up in the morning. They feed them, dress them, bathe them, feed them again, put them to rest, to take a nap after they've had their lunch, wake them up again, give them some refreshment. In the bigger temples, they offer the deities achman before the arti, you know. They'll offer them padman. Padman is water, scented, spicy water, like some cloves and cinnamon. Offer that. So he's just awakened, so he wants to rinse his mouth with some spicy, scented water. It's a very personal thing. So Krishna manifests as the deity to give you that personal interface with him. And you can take that as far as you want. You can get as personal with the deity as you want. Good observation.
Prabhu, one more. I don't know if Rangavati Mataji or you would have seen, depending on the mood of our service, we see a different expression when we are offering for the Lord or when we are praying for the Lord. Have any of you observed this?
You see a different what?
Expression. Slight different expression. I mean, the facial way you see the Lord, it's not the same face, or somehow it's different, little bit, always.
Krishna can change expressions anytime he wants to.
It's it depends on our mood. Actually, I've seen this. Anyway, it's I've
I
seen
have
this.
a little pastime there, Jagadish Prabhu. When from Radha Londonishvara in the Soho Street temple, that the Gauranitai deities started looking very chubby. Their faces looked very chubby. And so it wasn't just their expression changed, you couldn't fit their clothes on. And these are the same clothes they've had all this time that have always fitted. And then suddenly there was a period of time where they put on weight. I mean, you think brass deities, how do they put on weight? But Krishna arranges that to give us faith in him, and that, you know, faith in the deity, that this is actually him, and their clothes wouldn't even fit. Now, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Except they were obviously enjoying their the prasadam that they were being offered. And they put on weight. They got very chubby.
Actually, I saw that with Kalachandji. I had outfits that I'd put on him for a long time, and then one day it was too small. And I thought, what are they feeding you? You know, because it wouldn't fit. It was too tight. And so we actually had to get new outfits. We had to start buying new outfits. So he didn't look any chubbier, though. It's just that it didn't fit anymore. I guess maybe he was thinking, all right, I've had enough of that. Recycle that one. Actually, I kept that outfit. I don't have it anymore, but I kept it.
Yes, people don't believe it. It does happen. You know, I talked to a devotee in New Goloka in North Carolina. No, actually, I was listening to her. Even she sees, depending on the mood of the service she has, she sees kind of different expressions from the Lord.
Jagdish, your sound just went down. I can't hear you now.
Okay. I've seen this with devotee in New Goloka in Hillsborough, in North Carolina. A devotee, depending on her service, she sees a different mood in the Krishna space.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Krishna will. I mean, why should he just stand there and not move and not change. You see, if our consciousness of him is that he's just a piece of marble or a piece of wood or a piece of metal, then of course there'll be no change. But if you start to see him and experience him as the Supreme Godhead, then we may notice some change. See? We may notice him looking in a different direction. Sometimes the deity may be looking here, and sometimes he may be looking over there. You see? That's not uncommon at all. So, sometimes the deity steals things off the offering. You go to to get it, and it's gone. You think, did I forget to put that preparation on the tray? Well, no, it's just gone. He took it.
Or it's gone and come back in the same quantity.
Huh?
It may have gone out and come back in the same quantity.
Yeah. Or maybe he got full and he wanted to save it for later. I don't know. So there's all types of pastimes that we can have with our deities.
All right. Well, it's about 7:10 here in Arizona, and if anyone has any final questions or reflections or anything that they would like to share.
If not, thank you all so much. It was really sweet to see everybody. Let's do this again. When is our next one? Let's see, this is Thursday. All right, so all right, let's get together Thursday and let's do this again.
I want to thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Great to see everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Please stay healthy and safe.
You too. Everybody.
Thank you, Gurudev. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhakta Chris. Hare Krishna, Mother Angavati.
Hare Krishna, Jivananda Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Bhakta Bob.
Really appreciate you guys.
I will see you later, Radha.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Virtual Closeness has been another Krishna, and it's been great having all of you present and those that'll watch. Thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed tonight's discussion. It's a very wonderful one, very, very beautiful and personal one. So thank you all. Love you guys, and hope to see you guys soon. Hare Krishna, Hare Bo.